Right now, Independence Day celebrations continue through the holiday weekend. We'll show you how people are celebrating in our area.
Storms rumbled through parts of southern Wisconsin throughout the afternoon. We're going to talk about that storm threat and if any strong storms are still in the future this weekend.
And we're following floods in Texas. That leaves dozens of people dead as search parties continue looking for those missing. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. Storms rolled through southern Wisconsin just a few hours ago. Let's go ahead and get a look at your first one forecast with Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington. Alex, how are we looking for this evening?
We still have some showers out there, Jalen, and some heavy downpours in certain areas out towards Soldiers Grove, up along Highway 14, up by Richland Center, maybe a few passing heavy raindrops near the Muscoda area. But as we zoom on out, that's really the most concentrated area of showers. You have to go up into central Wisconsin or east central Wisconsin to find more showers and maybe a rumble or two of thunder yet this evening. Future track, let's put that into motion. I think we're getting an update here again showing the fizzling out, the decreasing of the showers. We may still see a rumble or two of thunder develop near the Wisconsin-Illinois border as we head towards 4 o'clock in the morning. But a lot of that energy that we had today, the heat, is gone from the earlier showers and thunderstorms. So that brings down the strong storm threat for this evening. We can't rule out some gusty winds, but I think the severe weather threat is very, very low for the rest of the night tonight. Just showers and a couple of garden variety thunderstorms that could still have lightning and heavy downpours. But storms will return by Tuesday night. Coming up in Maine weather, that's not the highest chance of rain this upcoming work week. We'll let you know which day that is. And a look at the drought monitor, because it has been some time since we've taken a peek at that. We'll look at that coming up in Maine weather.
All right, sounds good, Alex. We'll see you in just a bit. And as always, you can track the forecast for yourself on the First Warn Weather app. It is hourly planners, road conditions, and even radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. Water levels have come down significantly in Texas. The governor of the state says more than 850 people have been rescued as crews search for 30 miles of river for survivors. Jason Allen has more.
Search and rescue teams climbed over piles of debris spreading out across the Guadalupe riverbanks that had been underwater, probing for anyone who may still be there. Friends and family of the missing also searching, overcome by how much has been lost. Brian Blackbird came to the river looking for signs of his sister and her husband.
We're still hoping for the best, but that's all we can do in that and pray.
They were staying in their family vacation home with friends when Texas officials say the river rose more than 25 feet in less than 45 minutes early Friday morning.
Pete and Martha made their way fighting the current around the house, and that's when she got swept away.
Some of the searches have led to incredible stories of survival.
All of a sudden we just hear somebody say, "Help, help,
and
somebody
we could tell
help
it was
us."
a kid.
Natalie and Emily Rayford say they went looking and found an 8-year-old girl in a pile of debris.
Did you ask her what had happened, how she was able to make it?
Yeah, we asked her what happened and she said that her cabin was flooding and someone opened a window and she just flew out of it.
At least 27 girls from Camp Mystic remain missing, including Hadley Hanna, Eloise Peck, and Lila Bonner, all from Dallas. RV parks along the river were filled with people on vacation. They had no warning. A wall of water was coming their way.
We will be relentless in going after and ensuring that we locate every single person.
The emotion here over all of this is still very raw tonight. The scope of this damage has been hard for a lot of people to comprehend. And in many cases today, as we have traveled through this region, we see people who are standing here looking at it and just crying, unable to even talk about what has happened. Jason Allen, CBS News in Hunt, Texas.
Our thoughts are certainly with those impacted by the flooding in Texas. Back here in Wisconsin, Partyville keeps the Independence Day festivities rolling through the holiday weekend with their community celebrations. A vendor fair, cornhole tournament, and boat parade, live music, and fireworks show highlights today's schedule. Free face painting was available to help attendees get in the spirit of the holiday. It's a way for many to get out, enjoy the weekend, and connect with local communities.
It's just a fun thing to do, keep busy, and we like to do all the little
their festivities. There's a whole little schedule of things that are going on today. So the kids have a little jumpy house, and then we're going to do a ski show. And what else? They have a boat parade. So that's fun.
This is part of multiple events in Partyville this weekend. There was a community parade Friday morning. Horse enthusiasts also celebrating this holiday, getting some competition in at the Notara Farm in Verona. The farm hosted a two-day event with a combined test on the 4th of July and a driving trial on Saturday, which included dressage, marathon, and cones competition. The event also raised money for Madison West Middleton Rotary Club, which works to benefit charitable organizations. This 4th of July weekend marks 2 years since a Juneau County woman went missing, and subsequently 2 years of heartbreak for her family. Our Maddie Heim speaks with the woman's mother as she continues to plead for answers.
The last time Leah Stewart was seen was the 4th of July in 2023, and she was seen right here on 19th Avenue near the town of Mauston.
Not a day goes by when I don't think about her.
For Leah's mother, Vera Weiland, the past 2 years have been a long road as she misses her daughter and watches 3 of her grandchildren miss their mom.
She was happy-go-lucky. She'd help anybody.
Vera says she hasn't stopped trying to locate her daughter.
I'll walk down the streets and look for her.
And according to a press release sent out Thursday, the Juneau County Sheriff's Office and the Wisconsin Department of Criminal Investigations have conducted several search operations and followed multiple leads over the past 2 years, all to no avail.
They get lots of leads. Some work, some don't.
Vera says she often imagines being reunited with her daughter.
It would be great to have her. I think about that every night. I'll sit outside and I picture her.
But says even if they don't meet again, she just wants to know what happened.
We need to put closure on it. And if there's anybody out there that knows anything, please let us know.
Leah's mother has a GoFundMe set up to help with the search efforts. Reporting in Juneau County, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Maddie, thank you. Now, we have a link to that GoFundMe on our website at channel3000.com, as well as contact information where you could submit anything you might know about Leah's whereabouts, no matter how minor. Coming up next, Alex returns with a complete look of your First One forecast. And Israel is sending delegation to Qatar for ceasefire talks with Gaza. Plus, President Trump is turning his attention to trade following a major legislative win for his domestic agenda by signing the new Big Beautiful Bill into law.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Tonight, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he's sending a delegation to Qatar Sunday for talks on a possible ceasefire deal. Hamas calls the latest response positive. This as Israeli strikes today killed at least 14 in Gaza, and 10 other Palestinians were killed trying to get food. It's unclear how they died. CBS's Deborah Patta reports from East Jerusalem.
For more than 21 months, with little respite, Palestinians in Gaza have been trapped in an endless cycle of airstrikes and funerals. Since the last truce collapsed in March, another 6,000 people have been killed in Gaza. Saleh Abu Odeh has been displaced so many times, he's lost count. We pray there will be a ceasefire, regardless of the demands, he said. Just agree and let the people breathe. The acute humanitarian crisis has worsened, with daily mass killings of Palestinians shot while trying to get food, mostly near the US-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation aid sites, according to eyewitnesses we spoke to. And today, GHF says 2 American security contractors were injured in a grenade attack. The World Food Programme's Antoine Renard has just returned from Gaza and told us he's never seen such levels of desperation.
The closer you get to a ceasefire, the more tension there is on the ground. I sincerely hope that the ceasefire is actually around the corner.
He says they are ready to surge aid into Gaza as soon as they get the green light. In the streets of Tel Aviv, there is growing pressure not just for a deal, but for a permanent end to the war. Zahir Shahar Moor's uncle died in captivity.
The government of Israel must do all it can to ensure the outlined deal is implemented this coming week.
For nearly 2 years, Netanyahu has been accused by Israeli protesters of choosing war and his political survival over securing a ceasefire. But now there is growing pressure not just for a deal, but a permanent end to the conflict. Deborah Patter, CBS News, East Jerusalem.
And challenges remain as Hamas wants guarantees from the U.S. that negotiations for the end of the war would begin immediately, while Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has previously ruled this out until Hamas has been completely destroyed. Black unemployment just rose to its highest level since January of 2022. The Labor Department reported Thursday the jobless rate for Black Americans climbed 6.8% in the month of June. That's up sharply from May's 6%. And it's in stark contrast to the broader labor market's resilience. The national unemployment rate is down to 4.1%. Economists say Black Americans are usually impacted first whenever the economy begins to weaken. And measles cases have surged to a record high since the disease was declared eliminated in the U.S., according to data from Johns Hopkins University. There have been over 1,200 confirmed cases of measles just this year. The vast majority have been in Texas. 3 people have died and all were unvaccinated. Measles was declared eliminated in the U.S. back in 2000. However, the nation could lose its measles elimination status if cases associated with the outbreak continue to accumulate through January of next year. The deadline is fast approaching for countries to make new tariff agreements with the U.S. or face a higher rate, and the Trump administration is putting them on notice. CBS's Willie James Inman is traveling with the president and joins us from Bridgewater, New Jersey.
This weekend, President Trump is celebrating the first major piece of legislation for his second term.
It's really promises made, promises kept, and we've kept them. This is a triumph of democracy on the birthday of democracy.
The Friday signing ceremony was part of a 4th of July event at the White House, complete with a military jet flyover. The new law includes several campaign promises, such as no taxes on tips, an extension of the 2017 Trump tax cuts, and more funding for the military and border security. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act will also permanently raise the child tax credit to $2,200 and increase the state and local tax deduction to $40,000 for 5 years. Democrats have blasted the legislation for making cuts to food stamps and Medicaid. And now, as the White House turns to trade, they're also taking aim at the president's tariff policies.
The Trump administration, these across-the-board tariffs are going to hit Americans hard.
The president set a July 9th deadline for dozens of nations to make a deal with the U.S. or risk higher tariffs. Now the president says multiple nations could receive notice of new tariff rates early next week, which would go into effect in August.
I signed some letters, and they'll go out on Monday, probably 12.
The upcoming deadline leaves little time to negotiate.
You can't sit down with 200 countries. I think the letters are better.
Let's go ahead and get a look at your first one forecast with Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington. Alex?
Hey, Jalen, in southern Wisconsin, I got good news here. Strong storm threat, that is decreasing. We don't want any severe weather, but we will keep a few showers and thunderstorms in the forecast overnight. We certainly could use some of those more raindrops in certain parts of southern Wisconsin. Definitely need those raindrops more than others. And then the storm chances will return by Tuesday night. But that's not the highest chance of rainfall or thunderstorms in the upcoming work week. Right now, the most concentrated area of showers, maybe a rumble of thunder right now, centered over Richland County, Richland Center, Muscoda, up towards the Boaz area. And this shower activity is, as I mentioned, the most concentrated showers that we have really in southern Wisconsin right now. Just a couple dotting of showers, Madison areas off towards the south and towards the east. A rumble or two of thunder, we can't rule that out overnight tonight. And overall amounts from rainfall, there are a couple areas areas that picked up some heavier amounts up towards Crawford County, stretching up towards the Richland Center area, maybe a half to 3/4 of an inch, and perhaps about a half inch just north and east of the Dells. Otherwise, the next heaviest amount that I can see here, maybe Darlington, which absolutely needs that water at about a half inch. And they, as I mentioned, they need that water because Darlington, Monroe, Janesville, I said earlier we'd give a glimpse here at the drought monitor. Haven't shown this in a couple days. This is our current drought monitor right now. They need the rain still along the Wisconsin-Illinois border, while other areas of southern Wisconsin have had their fair share of raindrops. So always take the raindrops that you can get, as my dad would say growing up on a farm, because you never want a drought condition, and certainly not during the growing season. Shower and thunderstorm activity as we go through the rest of the night in the dwindling phase as we head from now towards 12 o'clock, as we head towards 4 o'clock in the morning. Maybe a couple more thunderstorms trying to pop up near the Janesville area. And again, those would be welcome raindrops, but the threat for strong thunderstorms is very, very low as we move through the rest of the night. And as we carry off into Sunday, we can't rule out a pop-up shower storm from Madison areas to the east. The reason why the strong storm threat is low, winds high up, they're not strong. You need that for strong thunderstorms, and we don't need severe weather, right? And the atmospheric energy available for strong storms is low and going down. So that's why our strong storm threat is decreasing tonight, which is good news. Still have that chance of a shower or a thunderstorm overnight. Heavy downpours would be the main threat yet this evening and the overnight hours because of all the humidity that we have left. The temperatures will be right around 80 in Madison. Clouds are going to hang on a little bit longer from Madison areas to the east towards the Mississippi River. You might sneak a few more rays of sunshine with highs in the lower 80s out towards Prairie du Chien. The muggy meter here, I wanted to show this too. Somebody was asking me, when is the humidity going to drop? Sunday night, we're going to have a comfy period of time before it kind of creeps its way back up towards the humid levels. But it is July, right? July, it's usually a pretty muggy month. Next chance of rain Tuesday night, but the best chance of rain, as I was mentioning earlier in this upcoming work week, will likely be Friday night with a cold front, and that cold front will be associated with muggy conditions as we head out then towards the following weekend. Those temperatures will then go back down as we head towards Saturday and Sunday, and then back up as we head out into the early part of the following work week. And we can't leave the forecast tonight without this picture again from Carrie. We had shelf cloud pictures sent to us from a number of folks who caught them on our sky cams too. This was near Mazomania again before the gusty winds and the heavy rain moved in. And then I think you two just went out for dinner when we had that gust front and shelf cloud move through our area too. How was your experience?
Yeah, it wasn't in Mazomania, but even here in Madison, it seemed pretty unbelievable. Like we thought we saw like a dust storm moving in, but it was truly like a
wall.
Yeah, like a wall of rain coming across the street. It was unreal.
It was like instantaneous. There was no rain, and then all of a sudden you just see people running because they got caught in it, and it was just, it
was nuts.
It was pretty fast.
And he even warned us. Alex said, I wouldn't go out right now. And we said, we're going to be fine. And there we were in trouble.
I told you earlier this evening, we were ordering food and I was getting like rained on. Thankfully, it was so bad. Thankfully, I had a towel in my car where I just had to like lay it on my lap. So I wasn't just getting dumped on the rain. So.
I was kind of laughing.
But you got your food, and that's...
Yeah, we did.
We did. Shout out Chick-fil-A, but yeah. But all right, thank you, Alex.
You're welcome.
And forgive us for ignoring your warning. Next time, we'll make sure to listen. But Andrew, what do we have coming up in sports?
Well, coming up in sports, we got a whole lot of good stuff, including the UW-Whitewater connection to today's Brewers game and why he was bad news for the Crew. Next on News 3 Now. This basketball season went by in a blink, making it easy to mull over some of the biggest moments. But the culmination of Bo Ryan's incredible career, well, that's worth another look. Ryan was inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, capping off an incredible career back in October, illuminated by unprecedented success both at UW-Platteville and at Wisconsin. He, of course, took the Badgers to back-to-back Final Fours, putting the program in a place and position it had never been. Recently, we got our first chance since the induction to catch up with the legendary coach.
Well, I'll tell you, the Naismith Hall of Fame award, I was like a kid in a candy store. It was nice to be able to stand up in front of an audience and thank the people that made it all possible, and to represent Wisconsin, the university and Platteville. So yeah, it was fantastic. I'll never forget it.
On May 25th, the Brewers were a measly 25-28, and there were real concerns that this group might just not have what it takes to figure it all out. But then all of a sudden, they did. Since that day in late May, they are 24-11, the second best mark in the major leagues. Looking to improve on that in Miami, trailing 2-1 in the fourth, and Rhys Hoskins hammers one to center. It gets by the diving center fielder and turns into a rare RBI triple for the big man. It would score Jackson Chourio and tie the game at 2s. Hoskins, though, would later exit the game with a thumb injury. But in the 8th, things would change. The Marlins took a lead. They would never give back. Miami put out the UW Whitewater product. Lake Bacher out for the 9th inning to close out the crew, and he did just that. His first MLB save as the Marlins win it 4-2. And tomorrow, knock on wood, is a day that Brewers fans have waited a long time for. Brandon Woodruff is slated to make his big league return and come back to a big league mound for the first time in 652 days. He's battled all kinds of injuries since, but is just about back. And it was an absolute dance party at the Duck Pond, and I'll tell you why. Davis Hamilton at the dish. He hits his second double of the first inning. You heard that right. The Ducks were quacking this evening. That would make it 9-0 Madison in the first inning. They'd go on to score 10 runs in the first, running away with the win. How about a final score of 17-2. Headed just 2.5 hours south to TPC Deer Run for the third round of the John Deere Classic. And this is why pros are pros. Check out this shot from Max Homa. It would help him save par on a par 5, helping him head into tomorrow's final round just one stroke back of the lead. An awesome day in sports, I would say. Anytime we got to talk about Bo Ryan, baseball, an incredible UW Whitewater story, it all culminates together here on a Saturday, and what a day it was.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy that somebody like Bo Ryan can get in. One of the cool things about the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame is that it's a culmination of everything that you've done in your basketball life. So the fact that he gets recognized for what he did at both those universities, I think, really encapsulates not only his career, but just how impactful he was to the game as a whole.
And making so many contributions in so many parts of our community here in the greater Madison area. Just an awesome individual.
Absolutely. Well, sounds good. Thank you, Andrew. A final check of your first warn forecast is coming up when we return.
The continuing dwindling of showers overnight tonight. Not expecting any strong storms overnight tonight. Could see a pop-up shower storm on Sunday, but it's probably the better pick of the weekend because it'll be cooler.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you all for joining us. Seinfeld is up next. We'll see you back here tomorrow.